Hello and welcome to this very special edition. I am pleased to say I'm joined by probably one of my favorite up and coming country artists at the moment. He's out in Nashville right now for us. Jordan Harvey, hello.
How you doing, mate? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, good. Thanks. How are things out there?
Things are good, mate. Things are starting to really pick up again. Just obviously the Christmas break and stuff like that, everything kind of shut down. But I mean, we are usually kind of, I always get a little anxious coming back in at the top of the year because I'm like, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be slow? And this year has just been full steam ahead. So it's actually pretty awesome, to be honest.
Amazing. Big things are happening then. Firstly, let's mention it. Congrats on the engagement.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a very exciting, amazing experience. So very happy.
How was that? How did you have it all planned out in your head for a while?
I mean, I had it planned out in my head, but like I pulled the trigger on doing it like the night before. And where I grew up in Scotland, there's a really, really pretty castle like 5 minutes from my front door. And with my girlfriend being from Alabama, they don't really have castles over here. So I was like, that's the place to do it. And yeah, it went so well. She was so happy, and that's the most important thing, is that she was really happy. So yeah, it went awesome.
What a great end to the year it was, and what a year it
I know.
was for you.
Yeah.
2022, I'd say it was huge for you, wasn't it? How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it was class. I mean, I've only had music out now for just over 4 months. So the
Mm.
first like 6 to 7 months of last year were just really, finalizing the record, getting the mixes finished, mastering the record. So the first 6 months were a lot of stuff just behind closed doors, and then we came out with the first track in August, and we like had a viral moment around that song, which was like super great. And then we released another song in October, and all the attention is on this EP coming out. Though we just released a couple of tracks last year just to kind of let people know who I am and what's to come. And the real hard work starts January 20th when the record comes out. So I'm buzzing, man. Like last year was such a cool year. This year's going to be even better, and I'd like to think that every year from here on out just kind of gets a little bit better and better. So it's going to be fun.
Let's talk about the EP then.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to hear it. It's so good. How would you describe this EP from your perspective?
Just unapologetically myself. I think this from every story that's in the song is something I've lived, and sonically, it's things that inspire me. And I'm a drummer by trade, as they say. That's kind of what I studied, and all my songs are very rhythmic. There's a lot of like great drum parts in them, which I didn't play the drums on them, but I had a heavy hand in the creation of the parts and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, very rhythmic and just energy. And I want you to feel happy when you listen to this record. And that's exactly what I feel like I've managed to achieve with this. So it's just kind of got a little bit in the record for everyone. It's got tempo, it's got mid tempos, it's got ballads. So I feel like I've managed to include everything that I could in these 5 songs to give like a true representation of myself as an artist.
Yeah, and for your perspective, I guess that this release date can't come quick enough now. I guess you're itching to just get it out there.
Yeah, man, it's just like one of these things. You want to get out there, and you just want to you want to get the feedback, man. You just want to hear what people think. And at the end of the day, it's all about the tunes and how people react and respond to them. And on the little that we've done so far, just with 2 songs, it's hard to be taken seriously as an artist when you just have 2 songs out. And now I think is the time where you come with a full body of work and people go, okay, let's dive into this kid, let's see what he's got. And I'm just super, super excited to see how these tunes translate with people.
Yeah. One of my favorite videos, I think, from the whole year, a very wholesome video, was you in Alabama in the
Yeah,
stadium and your song was playing.
yeah,
Um,
dude.
how was that? What was that like?
Dude, that whole kind of like month was wild because that happened, which was a complete shock. And then down in Alabama in Tuscaloosa, like the godfather, like the king of college football, is a guy called Nick Saban. He is royalty there and all across the board. Even people that go to like rival colleges, you know, just respect him. He's just amazing. And his daughter actually reached out to me, which was very bizarre, and was just like, "Hey, I love your music, and this and that and this and that." And then I met her at one of the games, and then ever since that, she's always texted me on every game day that I've not been able to make it, and she's videoed inside the stadium of them playing the song. So Bryant Denny Stadium, the stadium
Yeah,
for Alabama, which holds 102,000 people, play my song every week when it's in season. So it's pretty awesome.
that is crazy. Have you got a
Yeah.
team? I suppose have you got to say that Alabama is your team now, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I even have a necklace that says "Roll Tide." There you
There you
go.
go. Look at that.
I know. My girlfriend's from Alabama. My dad taught me young. Happy wife, happy life. So I've got to stick by that, you know. So Alabama till I die now.
I suppose the one thing as well, I mean, well, both in Scotland, England, all around the UK, we don't really have American football teams. So I suppose it's easier to just do it that way around.
Absolutely, and I love, you know, I love American football, man. I'm a huge fan. Like, I love NFL, I love college. It's just so cool being over here because you get, you know, the chance to go and see it all, which is awesome.
Mm. Have you got an NFL team?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
big weekend coming up. Nerves,
It's,
nerves.
it is huge. I'm a Dolphins fan myself, so we just
Yeah,
snuck in.
yeah,
Uh,
big weekend too for you guys.
huge. I kind of fancy us, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to put it
Yeah,
out
I
there.
do not fancy the Ravens, but that's how I like it. I want to be the underdog.
It's the best way to be. It's the best way to be.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about kind of your upbringing with country then, because was country always a thing when you were growing up? Was it always kind of country music?
Absolutely. I mean, my dad raised me on country. My dad's a huge Johnny Cash fan, as am I. And he played Johnny Cash records from, you know, when I was the height of this table. I know you can't see the table right now, but it's pretty low. And you know, I would go to my grandpa owned a garage, and my dad was one of his mechanics, and I would go there on weekends, and my dad would spin Johnny Cash records. So I've always had country music in my life. My mum used to sing Kenny Rogers songs to me, and then we don't have, as you know, like country radio as such in the UK. We certainly didn't have it when I was young. So it made me go to the shops and go and look for vinyls or CDs and stuff like that, and go to the country section, and I'd see like a George Strait record and be like, oh, he has a cool hat, when I was like 5. So then I would buy that, you know, and then I'd listen to that. And that's just kind of how I got into country. I had to go and source it. And I've always had this love for country. And I always said to my dad that, you know, there's a huge gap in the market for someone that's Scottish, especially with a direct correlation between Scottish folk music and country music, especially from the storytelling standpoint. I said, so I'll be the first person from Scotland ever in country music. That's what I always said to my dad. And I believe I technically am the first to ever come here, move here, submerge myself in it, you know, get a record deal here. I think that I'm the first to ever do that. So that in itself is a great achievement that I'm very proud of. But we have a long, long way to go.
But things are happening, which is huge.
We
Which
have
will
our
then
foot in the door.
exactly. Well, I'd
Yeah.
say opening for Seaforth is pretty good entrance into the door, isn't it?
Well, they're my best. They're like my brothers. They're like my best friends in the whole world. Like, I love, like, Tom actually produced a Thing About Change, which is coming out of my record. And we're actually about to go back in the studio shortly, and he's producing the back half of my record. And I love those guys. And it was one of these things. It was their first headline show, and Tom and Mitch called me and just said, you know, there's no one else that we would want to open up for us on this night, and would you do it? And I was like, absolutely no chance. No way I'm opening up for you, crooners. No, I was like, absolutely. Like, I'd love to. So yeah, we had such a great laugh, man. Like, from, you know, start to finish. And a song actually played that night, a song called Single at the same time, which, you know, no plans for that to come out just yet, but one day it'll come out. I co-wrote that with Mitch and Tom and a guy called Michael Whitworth here in town. So yeah, I mean, I love those guys, man. They're like, you know, we're in the same boat together. You know, we're fighting this battle every day to try and, you know, put one foot in front of the other to get more exposure and, you know, get our music heard. And first and foremost, they're like my friends and family, and I'm also a fan of their music. You know, I love them. So
Yeah.
good guy, great guys.
We have been teasing them on our socials, and they have been kind of teasing us back. To I've been telling them they need to come to the UK. So if you when next time you see them, and hopefully you come
Yes,
with them too, we need
absolutely.
a UK show.
We'll do C2C next year. They're actually heading out on their first headline tour early February, and I'm actually currently on radio tour over here right through to March, which is me out seeing all the stations in North America. And I've got that, and then I've got a ton of radio shows this year I'm doing, and, you know, gigs here and there, and on top of that, like a ton of promotion. So I think that unfortunately 99%, well, you know, of the year will be stateside. The 1% will be me getting to go home and eat my mum's Christmas dinner. So I'll be here for that. But next year I have big plans to come over and for sure, you know, play and stuff like that in the UK. I do believe we're putting me forward for a Keith Urban tour this year, on the back half of this year. So you just never know. You never know if it's going to happen. And I know he's over in Europe, so we'll wait and see. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, it'll be next year before I really get over.
Fingers crossed. But let's talk about one track on the EP again, because one of my favorites is I Will, which was one of the latest singles. We played it on the show.
Yes.
Talk to me about that song.
It's one of those, man, that song, people always look at me like I have 3 heads when I tell them how that song came together. When I was back in Scotland, when the pandemic was on, I'm as much as I'm a huge country music fan, I'm just a huge fan of music. I love music. I love great music. I love music that makes you feel something. And there's something about the chorus in Little by Little by Oasis that when it hits, you're like, wow, that's an amazing chorus. And if you even just remove the lyrical content of that song and just listen to it melodically and structurally, I just fell in love with that impact chorus. And I was like, I need a song that has a chorus that impacts like that. And the whole thing happened the night before. I was binging Oasis, so I always had this idea in my head of like the Little by Little chorus. And then I was on a call with my buddy talking about, you know, is he dating anyone, whatever. And he said right before the pandemic, he was chatting to this girl in a bar, and she was dating this guy who wasn't treating her very well. And he said, well, you know, if he isn't going to treat you right, I will. And that's where it just sparked for me. And that's where if you want, I will, da, 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 da. And then I just started riffing like, you know, vowels and noises, but I had that, if you want, I will, da, 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 da. And then everything just started to fall into place, and the drums and everything just kind of, you know, fell onto paper. And then I called my buddy Jason Massey, who is a writer in Nashville, and he said, well, I've got this buddy Travis Wood, who's a big songwriter here in Nashville too. Let's all jump on a Zoom and let's try and crack this out. So we did it, and we wrote it in about 2 hours. And, you know, I got sent a demo a week later, and I knew as soon as I saw that song, as I heard that song, I knew it was a hit. I just knew it was a hit. I was like, this is a hit, because I write so many songs that you just know when one is absolutely shocking, which, trust me, I've done them. And then you just know when one's like, oh, it's a cool tune, man. That's going to be a great album song. Or, you know, I love that I got to talk about my grandpa in this song or whatever. Like, and then that song, you hear it. And I called the head of the label immediately after I got the song. And I was like, dude, you have to hear the song. And he's like, I'll be the judge of that. So I sent him it. And John Loba, I love him so much, the head of BBR Records, one of the most intelligent men you'll ever meet in your life. Great ear for music, amazing ear for music. I've played him stuff before. He's been like, yeah, it's fine. And this song, he calls me and he's like, dude, that is a hit. And I was like, come on. So there's a high chance that'll be, there's a chance that'll be my actual lead single.
Big time. It's great. It's like I said, it's one of my favorites. So yeah, definitely did well with that one.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Speaking of songs, it's time to play a game. It's time to play Keep Calm and Name Country. I did warn you before we hit record. So
help us.
I need you to pick an artist,
right.
And that artist will then mean that you've got to name as many songs as you can by that artist in 30 seconds.
God. Okay. Well, the reason I'm picking this artist is last year my dog went missing, and basically we had a search party out trying to find him. We couldn't find him for the day. It was awful. And Abby Smyers found him, Dan Smyers from Dan and Shay's wife, and they are not only an incredible band, but Dan's wife is incredible for finding my dog. And
wow.
So we've kind of my girlfriend's got quite close to Abby recently, and I'm a big fan of the Dan and Shay guys. I'm yet to meet, I know Shay a little bit, and very, very, very briefly. But I'd love to get to know those guys more, because like I love their music. I mean, if I can name more than 5 songs, it's when you get put on the spot. Like, it's hard, but I'm going to try this. I'm going to go for Dan and Shay because Dan's wife found my dog. Okay, that's why we're doing this.
That is brilliant.
So tell me when I start, because God. Okay, let's just try.
I love that you're picking Dan and Shay. Dan and Shay are literally my number one. So, when I had a go at this game, I also picked Dan and Shay, and I got.
How many did you get?
I got 9.
Oh, dude, I'm smoked. Then I'm not gonna if I get 5, I'm gonna be happy. This is hard.
Right, you said it now. Right. So you got 30 seconds to name as many Dan and Shay songs as you can, and your time starts now.
Tequila, Steal My Love, All of Myself, Speechless, 19 You and Me. Oh, what's that one? Oh God, 19 You and Me. How Not To. I Should Probably Go to Bed. 10,000 Hours. What else? There has to be one more.
2, 1.
I'm taking it. 6. Well, 8. I'll take it. I'm happy with that. I'm delighted with that. 8 is a great number. I love 8.
8 is good. That was solid. And
I'll take it.
You can tell them that you got 8, and I'm sure they'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm delighted with that.
Good. Right. Finally, then, before we move on, 2023 then. Obviously, we've got the EP coming out. What else have you got planned?
So I'm on radio tour, as I mentioned. So taking us on to radio this year, which I'm uber excited for. Like it's been a dream since I've been a kid to take us on to country radio. So song at country radio, and then playing a ton of radio shows this year, getting out and playing, writers rounds and getting out and playing live shows. And I'm in Vegas for 2 shows next week, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, man, just get out and promote the record. And, in 2023, the way that you make it these days is to, lip sync with no microphone plugged into your own music on TikTok and hope that it goes viral. So a lot of that too, which I'm, as you can tell, ecstatic about. So yeah, that's just kind of how this year's going to go. So, but listen, if doing that stuff on TikTok, which is, going decently, like if that's the stuff that you get out to people, then I get it. I mean, it's a free promotional tool, isn't it? It's a free way of like advertising. So yeah, a lot of promotion this year. Promotion.
Amazing. And finally, I want to ask you just a personal request. I'm heading out to Nashville in May for the first time. Where do I need to go? Tell me where the best places are to be.
I mean, there's a British pub in the Gulch that I go to all the time. I'm a huge fan of. But you need to go to like the classics, man. Like Hattie B's, like, spicy Southern fried chicken or whatever it's called. You need to go there. You need to go to the Southern downtown and get chicken and waffles. And yeah, man, Broadway. Just go down to the bars and, Tootsie's and Rippies and Honky Tonk Central. Just go and have a laugh, man. Everything's quite tightly condensed. Have you ever been to Nashville before?
No.
You've not? Well, like, I don't know if I don't think I can do this. Can you do this? Oh, you can do this. Wait there. Let me see. So if I do this, so there's Nashville there.
Love that.
So like all in that area there is just like downtown and stuff. So once you're in that mix of buildings, you're really close to everything.
Amazing.
I know. So
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be
great. You'll have a wonderful time.
It's gonna be amazing. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a laugh.
Absolutely.
We can't wait for this EP to be out there and to see everyone just absolutely love it. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it.